Hello everyone, welcome back to Let It Cook, the cooking channel. How do we make a shellfish sauce? That's what we're making today. For that we need olive oil, very good white wine, noli nolibra, a bit of Pernod, these are Scampi, tomato paste, a bit of celery, leek and fennel trimmings, salt, shallots and half a clove of garlic. First we need the shells from the Scampi, and the most important thing is that you absolutely do not throw away the heads, okay? That means we pull off the heads here, then you open up the shell down here. If you want, you can leave the last segment on. It always looks nice when frying, okay? Then you separate this out. Take the legs and the shells with you. And now you take a knife and very carefully make a cut here along the back. Not too deep, just about 1 millimeter, okay? And pull out the intestine here. There, the intestine. And we put it aside. We don't want it in the sauce, but we'll use everything else for the sauce. Okay? That's how we prepare the scampi. I'll show you again how to remove the head. And this stuff that's inside the head, I know it sounds a bit weird, but that's where all the flavor is. If you throw that away, you won't have a proper sauce, okay? So don't throw that away. I've already mentioned that I lived in Barcelona, and the Spanish, when they eat scampi, they suck out the head at the end. I've never seen that here in Germany, but I've tried it before and it's excellent. I know you have to dare to do it, but in terms of taste, it's just amazing. I've finished preparing the scampi and put them straight in the fridge so they stay nice and cold, okay? And now I'm just roughly chopping the onions. As you can see, I haven't cleaned the cutting board, right? That was a bit on purpose because there's flavor in everything here. This stuff is really expensive and there's flavor everywhere. That means if the vegetables pick up a bit of flavor from what's still on the board, I don't mind at all, okay? Otherwise, that would just be pure waste. I had the fennel, I made a different recipe with it, and now I'm using the core for the sauce. That's more than enough for me. And you have to be careful now, okay? In my opinion, you shouldn't use too much of these vegetables, all right? Carrot is also often used for the stock, but I really don't like that because it makes it way too sweet for me. You see, by comparison, I have a lot more shells than vegetables now because I don't want a vegetable stock, I want to make a shellfish stock, right? I quickly made a little boat. Now I'm adding a bit of oil to the pot, a little olive oil. It's already pretty hot, so be careful. And now first add the shells with all the juice, everything in there, okay? And please don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid, guys, it tastes excellent. You can add some vegetables now too. And now we'll roast it nicely. I'll take another wooden spoon, a second one, and crush the shells a bit so I get more surface area, okay? And I'll also press down a bit on these heads. Okay, now you can add a bit of tomato paste. You can also add a few fresh cherry tomatoes or something like that, but just not too many, okay? That basically just helps to intensify the color a bit so that everything turns a really nice orange in the end, okay? I forgot to mention cream earlier. Since we're making a sauce, we need it too. There's now a bit over 1 cup here. First, I'm adding the white wine. Just a little, just a splash. If you notice that it's sticking a bit to the bottom of the pot, add a bit more wine and let it loosen up again, okay? You can also add a bit of Pernod. Be careful with that stuff. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Pernod. That's why I always add it very sparingly, just a few drops if you like it, of course. If you enjoy drinking pastis, then you can add a bit more. And I've used a very good wine here, okay? Which we also want to drink later. I'll prove it to you by taking a sip in a moment. There. And Pernod. This isn't a cooking wine. When it comes to such delicate sauce bases, I'm not a big fan of using a cheap wine because it makes it very sour. Yeah, so you'll just end up with a very sour taste. I also forgot to mention a lemon, I just realized, because we might want to add a bit of acidity at the end. Then of course we'll use lemon, that works best. Now we add all the vermouth. This is a Nolibra vermouth, yes. Loyal fans already know this is my favorite vermouth. I think they could sponsor me with a case. So if anyone from Noni Nolibra is watching, send one over. I always mention you, but still haven't received anything. So now a little Pernod to go with it. Just a few drops, not too much. And the remaining white wine like this. This piece is for me. It's really good. Very good. Really, really fine. And now we add a splash of water to extract more flavor and let the whole thing reduce nicely before we add the cream. Now it's boiled down, and now we just add cream to the whole thing. Just pour it over the shells and let everything cook out again. It's better to overdo than underdo. Now we'll let that cook through one more time. And you can already see it has this really nice orange color now. It's like making soup. Just add more fish stock, pour in another liter, a bit more cream, and you'll have a good shellfish sauce. Then thicken it up a bit, okay? And you get a nice shellfish sauce, And now we'll let that simmer for a little bit. I'll add a small pinch of salt now, but carefully, okay? You don't need to season the stock too much at this point. It's better to do that when you actually use it, if you're not going to use it right away, all right? For example, if you're making scampi for grilling, you don't want to throw away the shells and the heads, of course. You can make an incredibly good stock from them. Prepare it, put it into small freezer containers like ice cube trays, and then straight into the freezer, right? We'll let that cook 3 more minutes, then strain it, and I'll show you. So my dears, it's cooked down now. Now I'm going to strain the whole thing through a very fine mesh strainer. Just pour it in here. And now really press it. Yes, press it in there properly with the spoon. Get everything out of it. It's really, really important that you squeeze out all the flavor now. I actually really like to do it this way, that I take this base, which is now in the sieve here. There's still so much flavor in it. So I press it out here as hard as I can, hop, 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 to get everything out at the bottom. And then I put it back into the pot once more. Where it came from, yes, everything, fill it all up with water again and let it come to a boil once more. You can see with these stocks and sauces, it's really important that you work thoroughly, yes. I once had a French 3-star chef and he would have filled it up now, then he would have filled it up again, and then a third time, and then he would have used the 3 stocks for the next batch instead of water, yes. So you need large cold storage and plenty of space for those things. Yeah, you probably can't do that at home because you don't have such big refrigerators, but he always made 1 stock, then another stock, and then another stock. And then the next time he made the sauce, he used the stock and the follow-up stocks to start the sauce. And that's how he got such power into his sauces. That was simply the difference. 3 stars, that's all I can say. So now it has boiled up again. Now we'll put it back. The bell is ringing outside. Just a reminder for you all, please click the bell below. Yes, down there below the video, I think there's a little bell here. You'll get a notification when I upload a new video. Now you squeeze the whole thing out properly again. And now the question is, what do you want to make out of it? This is just a starting point. I'm going to freeze this now and make a nice shellfish sauce out of it. You can, for example, thicken it a little. Then you can fry a nice fish fillet with it, a piece of monkfish or something similar. Yes. Foam it up, add a splash of fresh cream and use a hand blender if needed. Pour it over, it's fantastic. You can also add saffron or something similar. But as you can see, it's really nice and dry now. We've gotten all the flavor out like this. We've got a nice little sauce here. I'll try it now. The color is already fantastic. There's power in it. Guys, give it a try. You'll have a really awesome shellfish sauce. We'll see each other again next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your girlfriend, blah, you know the drill. And until next week, my dears, good luck. Bye-bye. Take care.